Good morning, sixth graders. Welcome back this week. We are going to be working on more comparing and contrast writing. But like how last week we compared and contrast Jewish beliefs about Jesus Christ, some social studies stuff, this week we're going to compare and contrast author's purpose and different things. That is new for us this week. We're learning author's purpose. First, compare and contrast, quick review from last week, Jewish and Christian beliefs about Jesus Christ. You're going to be getting those point of view or those essays back soon that you wrote, but answer this question in about one sentence, even though you did it in many paragraphs, right here. And you must use at least two of the key words. Go ahead and jot that down and pause when you're done. Okay, so welcome back. This week we are going to be talking about author's purpose, or just purpose of something at all. When we're talking about purpose, we're talking about why someone does something. So think, what is the purpose of brushing your teeth? It's to keep your teeth clean so you don't get cavities. What is the purpose of tracking the speaker? Okay, so when we're thinking about purpose, we think of the word why. So talking about author's purpose, there are reasons why authors do something in their writing. They don't just put stuff in for no reason. So we're going to be looking at writing this week and thinking, okay, why did the authors do this? What was their purpose here? These are the four main purposes that an author can have: to inform or educate the reader and give information, describe something or to detail it, which means to give details about it. An author can persuade, which means when they want you to believe in something, to convince you of something, or entertain. So that's usually just a story when an author tells a story to entertain you. These are the four reasons why authors write. So think, if you're writing a letter to your parents with reasons of why you deserve a cell phone for your birthday, what's your purpose there? Yeah, your purpose here is to persuade because you're trying to get them to think you deserve a cell phone. But what about, number 2, the manual that explains how to put together your phone. So when you get a new iPhone, you open it up and you're reading this text that tells you sort of how to put the SIM card in and stuff like that. Which of these four purposes is that? Yeah, informing, because that's actually teaching you how to do something and giving you information. That in a little bit could be confused with this one too. You could maybe argue that it would be describe and detail just because they would be maybe describing how to put together your phone. That could also work. And then number 3, the Malala article in literacy class. So the ones, I know not every group did this, but if you think back to a couple months ago, the articles about Malala's fight for education. Yeah, these were to inform. Mostly, guys, whenever you're reading an article or a nonfiction text, it's usually to inform or give information. So now that you have done this, go ahead and I'm going to read them out loud to flip to the passages, and you're going to identify the purpose. One thing we're going to push to work on is to not just say and give purpose by using these 4 words. I actually want you to use the entire purpose. So for example, letter to your parents with reasons why you deserve a cell phone for your birthday. The purpose is to actually persuade them to get you a cell phone, not just to persuade. So whenever we talk about author's purpose, you want to give the whole thing. So for example, passage number 1, huge shout out to Patrick Griffin. I took this from his memoir speech because it was fantastic. You will never win being mad or worried. You just have to let yourself go with it and stay positive when hard situations come your way. Never give up. I guess you can't think about what's going to go wrong, but you can always think about what will go right. You should stay focused on that positive. So why did Patrick write this? Or what was Patrick's purpose, the author's purpose? Think back to this list right here. And then make sure that you underline evidence that shows that. Okay, so the strongest answer here, though I'm not Patrick, I don't know this for sure, I would say that it would be to persuade the reader to stay positive. Now, when I'm looking for evidence that shows he's trying to persuade them, I look at how he says, you should. That to me is a key word that's like, all right, he's trying to actually persuade them to be a certain way. You have to let yourself go with it. He's telling people, trying to convince them to stay positive. Never give up. He's actually telling them something. So here I read this and I know that Patrick is trying to persuade me or wants me to think or believe something, trying to convince me to stay positive. You can go ahead right now and do the rest on your own. I'm grading the second 2 for an exit ticket, so make sure that you take your time. And you will not get full points unless you underline evidence and give the whole purpose. But if you have not been to I'm going quick right now. If you have not been to the teacher station yet, make sure that you take your time, but we're going to go over these when you come to the front as well.